Welcome to episode 61 of IMO, the Ladies' Night. We are taking over again.
Oh, yes, it's Ladies' Night, and I'm feeling right. Oh, yes, it's Ladies' Night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night.
Woo! Welcome, welcome. We're so excited to be here today, chit-chatting with you. I am here with my co-host, Chantal Hayes Randell.
Hey, girl, hey.
And our guest, Gloria Chavez.
Hello.
Chantal, how are you doing today? I know there's a lot going on in your world.
Oh, yeah, I'm good. You know, just chronically sleep deprived, but we're fine.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. I try. I didn't remember how to get dressed this morning.
Daily struggle.
Gloria, we're so happy to have you here today as our guest.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah,
this is my first podcast.
Oh my gosh, girl. Well, we're so happy to have you joining us.
Thank
today.
you.
Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what's making you happy these days.
So I am, that's interesting. How to start that?
I know it's
how
very
to start
young.
that question. So I am Mexican, born and raised in Brooklyn. I reside in Chicago, and so I've been here for over a decade, so we can safely say that I'm a Chicagoan now. But I've been working in the dental field for over a decade as well, and then turned actress. So, you know, we're inspired, we're motivated and moving toward that goal ultimately. But these days, what's keeping me sane and what's keeping me happy is kind of trying to find the balance between all of it and just being okay with going at my own pace.
I love that. And that's something we wanted to talk about today, is how us as women who are multifaceted, we have so many different things on our plates, so many different goals and dreams and responsibilities, how we take care of ourselves and how we want to show up in the world and what that means for us on the daily. So before we start, we heard from Gloria. Chantal, would you introduce yourself?
My name is Chantal Hayes Randell. I am a creative director by day and actress by night and weekends. I'm from Dallas, Texas originally, and I migrated up to the Windy City circa 2006-ish. And it's just been a wild ride. I've got a wonderful husband and an adorable 3-year-old son, and I don't know why I'm acting, aside from the fact that I love it. It's just, but it makes it for a very interesting, full, chaotic, crazy life schedule.
Mm-hmm. I hear that.
Yep, hear that. Amen. I'm Emma Terrazas. I am a health and fitness coach by day, as you say, an actress also by day. And I'm loving right now how the two are really combining together and have a place together, and how one kind of plays off the other. So I'm excited to continue to explore how those two will grow career-wise with my clients, and also, like I was saying, how I want to spend my life and how I want to be spending my time. So the first question that I have for you ladies is, how do you spend the first few moments of your mornings? Ideally versus realistically, like in our minds, what would be ideal for you to start your day, and then what actually happens?
I'm feeling really triggered by this
Oh
question.
no! Oh no! So again, I'm also a health coach. So if you're open to me giving you some advice, we could do that too. So up to you.
Awesome. There is no point for me to dream what my morning routine looks like, because it just wouldn't happen. Like that, it just doesn't happen. Currently my morning routine wakes up of my son singing whatever song is in his head at the top of his lungs, and me frantically falling out of bed, literally, to go attend to him. And the minute he sees me, he goes, "Hi, mommy, I need insert thing here." So it could be a diaper change. It could be breakfast. This morning he asked for a cookie and a surprise. So, and then, you know, from there it's off to the races, right? Like we have to get him ready and dressed and off to school, me ready and dressed and ready for work, Jesse ready and dressed and off to work, and coordinating all of our work schedules. And so breakfast does not happen. I am lucky if I make coffee. Sometimes it's a Dunkin' run. Yeah. And me and my husband have talked about the need for a morning routine, but at this stage in our lives, we have just accepted it is just not in the cards for us. You know, we need every bit of sleep that we can get. And so we just sleep until our kid wakes up, basically.
Yeah. I feel like it's so precious still because he's not going to be doing that forever.
No. And one day he'll
15,
be 8.
He's like, Mommy.
Yeah. One day he'll be 6 or 8 and he'll be like, you know, normal and able to entertain himself and all the things. It's just right now, parenthood takes up so much of that self-care time and intentionality that it's just not this chapter.
You have to give it to someone else. But you know what's really cute though is that he's waking up like that, and it makes me think about how acting is all about having that like creative, untouched, like really unfiltered mind. And he's waking up and he's just creating a surprise for himself by asking for it. You know, that's so sweet, and that's something to like look forward to every morning because he's surprising you with whatever random things he comes up. Like I'm sure that gives you joy. You're like, kid, what?
Like, oh, there's surprises in there.
So all of a sudden I'm like trying to think, I'm like thinking like, what surprise am I going to give this child at 7:15 in the morning? But you know, we come up with one.
Yeah.
Today it was chai tea. Yeah. So
nice.
That's amazing.
For me, I honestly, I feel like I make the struggled attempt every single day. Every single day I wake up and I think, okay, today we're going to do, I can't do meditation. Like I can't bring myself around to it just because I know that I am in denial. I'm like, I accept it. I'm in denial. I know it works. I'm not going to do it. And I ideally I start with lists. I'm like a habitual, obsessive, addicted list maker. You have some things to say about that.
I love it.
And so I start out with my personal list of the things that I want to get done in my life, and a lot of it has everything that would be ideal, like acting, relationship, chores, random like menial tasks, but important tasks like paying the bills or paying your credit card. And then there's the business, like when I get started on working, because I still work full-time for a dental practice. Then there's that task list. And then there's in my personal task list, I also have a 100 days of journaling goal. Whoa. It is not working out right now.
Okay.
So there's been like, I know I probably fell off like 3 or 4 days that I haven't really done any writing at all. But the last time that I did, I honestly, like in between a shower and then maybe going out to the movies, we were getting ready, my boyfriend and I were getting ready to head out. And I had like a minute and I was like, you're going to take this freaking 1 minute right now and you're going to write something. And it was actually really genuine and really comforting to know, like to have found out that 1 minute and probably less than that, it took me to fill a page. And it felt like therapy a little bit because normally you would talk to your girlfriends or you would talk to your family or your boy or whoever's in your life that you kind of like release to. And that 1 minute was probably not the most successful page that I've had in that book, and now I'm ranting, but it was really like, I don't know, it was just like a little success moment, you know, that every day, every morning, it's not the same. Sometimes sleep deprived, you have so many things going on the night before, and then you have to prioritize your wellness. So you sleep more, so you get less time to do what you're supposed to do. And then you just try to do it all over again the next day. So that's kind of like, you know, the morning routine is start off with a list. And if I don't start off with a list, then I start off with like the most important thing, which is clocking in for work.
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for sharing, both of you, for that. For me, it does look different every day depending on what's going on and how I'm feeling, what I feel like I need. Sometimes it's nothing and I just run out the door because I also nanny 3 days a week. And other times it's like an hour or 2 hours and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, time to do what I got to do now. So I do love meditation. I've come to love it. I love morning yoga, even if it's just a 2-minute stretch. I'm reading a new book. So just trying my best to find little moments for me and do what I want to do. Sometimes it's a walk. Sometimes I go to the gym. So I feel like it's not so much about what you're doing. It's about you prioritizing yourself, even for that 1 minute, even for that, like, you wake up and the babe is screaming and you like take 2 deep breaths or something, or even like finding such mindfulness in the morning of him like running around doing whatever, like, oh, you're crazy, you're so cute. And I think about that for my life, and I really look up to you for that reason, because I'm like, how are you doing all these things? How are you a mother and working full time and also acting and all these things? So I know that you're like, I got no idea. I know that you're taking a little hiatus, and I would love to hear about that.
Oh gosh. Well, starting in October, I had 4 business trips in 4 weeks. And they were all 5 days each. At the same time, my husband and I were buying a house that we decided that we wanted to buy a 150-year-old home and remodel it. So we did that. And then, of course, I'm still trying to be somebody's mama in the middle of all of this. And then I was trying to finish up my acting projects, and I just said something has to go, especially because my husband's busy season at work. He works for the United Center for the Bulls and the Blackhawks doing the in-arena graphics. So the holiday season is crazy. He could be working 3 to 4 games per week on top of 50 to 60 work hours. So there was nothing. Something had to give, and I was like, you know what? I love acting, and I don't ever want to stop. But right now, for this season, we got to close those gates. And it's been wonderful. I haven't really done much since October. I'm not going to be auditioning for anything until January. I got new headshots done when I was on my business trip in New York. So, hey, yes, shout out to Leah Fandler. She is phenomenal. She has this really cinematic style of taking headshots, and she helped me select my outfits. And so come January, I'm coming in hot, y'all. But and my reel is almost done. So I'm really excited. But, just taking these 3 months off has been so crucial for self-care. I don't know if you guys can see on camera, but like my nail situation is horrendous. I've had a cold for like 3 weeks and going. Negative COVID test, though.
Hey. Not worried about you, girl. Not worried about you.
And the holidays are coming up, which for a mom is like our Super Bowl. So it just kind of came down to, if I want to be a healthy and mindful wife and mother and supervisor to my team, then I'm going to have to make sure that I trim the fat, as it were. And, next year, one of the things, don't listen to this, I hope my boss isn't listening to this. One of the things I really want to try to figure out is how to transition into acting full time. Right? And figure out how to really make this a career instead of a hobby, and what that looks like for me and my schedule. So the only way for me to do that was to take some time back and really kind of take a 360-degree view of myself and my materials and my schedule to figure out how I can make these changes.
I'm so happy for you.
Kudos, man. Kudos, because it's hard. Like, even not having any babies.
I know, right? I'm over here like,
it is hard with no babies.
We're both like,
once, in maybe in a few years, I don't know how many, but in a few years, I'm gonna keep your number. We're gonna hang out, and by that time, you're gonna be full mode acting, and I'm gonna be like, help me.
Oh, help me. No, you know what? Before I had kids, I remember thinking life was so hard too. Right? Like, there was no time for anything. So when people without children tell me like, oh, I'm so tired or it's hard, I'm like, no, it is. This life is hard. It's 2021, y'all. It's rough out in these streets, no matter who you are.
Right. 24/7. It's on.
It's on.
And you know what? I think a lot of things, a lot of people nowadays, like with social media, you know, being so big, right? Because it's like, you got to be an influencer, you got to be a fitness model, you got to be like that actor that's always pumping out the projects.
That part.
I see like old friends or other people that were students in like acting classes that I was in, and they're having like awards for best actor or best this or best picture or this, that. And I'm just thinking like, there's so much focus on the result, and there's like very little information. Actually, no, I lie. There's a lot of information on the microscopic steps to take on a daily basis to be able to get to those results. But these results are so amplified that I feel like it creates so much anxiety and so much like inner conversation and inner hecticness, like chaos. It's kind of like, let me always be busy, trying to get that result and trying to show people that result, show myself that result. But then you got to do your laundry. You gotta mop your floors, you know, and like if you have it in the budget, which most actors don't, you can get the cleaning lady or a cleaning person to come and hit up your apartment. But that's really not true for so many people. And even like with having a steady job, I've always had a steady job in the dental field. I feel like, well, I could put that money to do a little bit of self-care and get somebody to come and clean my apartment, or I could save it up and put it into another acting class or another set of headshots or a fitness class, which is so important because movement and health and yeah. So health coach, what would you do? Like, what do you do, I guess, for yourself, or do you suggest to other people to kind of bring that full circle, because everything is so intertwined and it can be so messy?
Yeah. I'm so happy that you talked about comparison, because that happens for me all the time. And I've been spending less time on social media, and I've been so much happier, honestly. Taking breaks is great. Taking a break to jump forward instead of struggle, being tired, and then you're still there anyway. So I love that you're taking a break. Seriously, I'm taking a break. Everyone should take a break, especially now. It's the holidays. Like,
take a break.
Take a break, y'all.
Take a freaking break.
Take a break. I think one of the biggest things that I see is people being perfectionists and comparing themselves. Oh, this girl goes to the gym 5 days a week. Oh, this girl does this and this. And it's like, you need to find what works for you. Even if it's twice a week, you go for a morning walk, or you go for a 10-minute walk during lunch. Like, anything that can get you moving, that feels good for you, that you're excited about, is going to stick, because it's for you. It's a deeper why than just like, oh, I got to work out because I don't like the way I look, right? It's like, it's so much more. It's about feeling good and knowing that you're prioritizing yourself, even if it's little tiny bits of time. It doesn't have to be a whole hour. It could be 20 minutes. You can go on YouTube. I've got a few YouTubes out there. It's like 20-minute workout, no equipment, just jump around. Oh, so fun. It's so much fun to really, like,
I'm gonna look them up.
You got to make it fun. That's really the goal. No one wants to do things they don't like to do. So you have to convince yourself that it's for you, that it's fun. And it doesn't have to be weight training. It could be walking, like I said. It could be rock climbing. It could be anything movement-wise, because that movement will physiologically change your brain chemistry as well, which is huge. So
I'll tell you this, I actually started working out, and thank goodness for my boyfriend, because he was like, we have to change something, you know, because we have been also just trying to get by with being with just being busy. And then like we lived together, and he had a change in his schedule and his job. He was working like the second shift, so he was like 3 to 11 p.m. and I was just like, you can't do this, because it's like gonna affect your entire existence. And so he went through that change, but I went through that change with him because of the sleeping routine. And then I went through a change where I was working and driving like 2 hours, an hour back and forth to work on a daily basis. And now I'm working from home. So it's like a different kind of sedentary life. And so we're both like, okay, we need to start working out. So literally 2 days into the workout this week, And I woke up with so much joy, like 2 days, and it was barely anything. The first day was just stretching. And when I say we haven't worked out, it's been like a year and a half of not even doing like stretching, and just like walking the dog has been the only, and it's not long. So both of us can see like immediately, the first day was just stretching. The second day was like some kind of a routine weightlifting workout, and the endorphins, like the joy and the kind of like waking up and being like, oh my God, I'm not tired. Oh my God, my back's not hurting. You know, my neck's not achy, which is like complaints that we've both had. And I think it's like something, it's just the hardest part is actually getting yourself to do something. Yeah. Which apparently still has not been discovered. Like how to, you just eventually one day get tired of not doing anything and you start.
Right.
Yeah.
But I will say too, like, it's okay at the same time, because it's okay that you haven't worked out. And, you know, like, there's so much been going on, pandemic. Like, just because you have the time doesn't mean you have the energy. So I think a lot of people that they get stopped from taking more action is because they feel so guilty and bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, literally, it's just the action. The action is going to propel you to take more action. You can't wait for motivation. You have to take the action.
Yeah.
Can
True
I
for
say
me,
something blasphemous? Like,
Say it.
no, I mean, right now working out is.
You get your workout.
Y'all cute. Y'all real cute about that.
You get your workout.
Yeah, seriously.
But no, I don't. No, you think I do, but no,
Running
no.
around and being
I see it.
after a
It's
three-year-old.
cool. But I try to at least focus on nutrition, right? If I can't focus on moving my body right now because it's just not that season, then I'm like, okay, well, can you like make sure you eat at least 5 salads this week, right? Can you make sure that like with every meal there's a fruit or a vegetable?
Yep.
Can you try to have a few more smoothies? And that makes a huge difference too. Like if you can't do the whole Instagram fitness suite, right, that we're all told we need to do, try to cut and find ways that you can kind of make your lifestyle a little healthier in the ways that you can. I'm a workout person. I love working out. I've worked out since I was 15. I love running. It's awesome. My job as a creative director is literally for the fundraising marathon division of work. Like I'm surrounded by people who work out all the time.
That's
So
awesome.
I believe in it. I just don't have the time. You know?
Yeah.
But I'm sure a lot of people feel that way.
But
100%.
see, that's the thing about not only with this like pre and post COVID would be normal, but now with COVID and so much information being blasted in our face with such negativity, and it's not only negativity, it's deaths, like it's losses, it's trauma being splattered all over our screens. And like you said, if you don't make that conscious decision to get off of a screen, then, because I was thinking the other day how it's so interesting how, so my boyfriend is like my point of reference here because quarantine.
There's no one else.
But I love him because and no, he's really he's really funny because he's like obsessed with the 90s, right? And I'm like, yeah, I was born in 80s baby, and I grew up in the 90s, and so 90s gets referenced a lot too. How did people do it? Like my parents had one single phone, right? You would leave the house and you would not know anything about that person, where they were, what they were going through, what their situations were, like what their struggles or moments of happiness were. And people still found a way to succeed. People still found a way to work out, to do all of the things that they needed to do to run their life. And now I just think, like I was thinking the other day, like, people did not have social media. Yet there was still stress. There were still hardships. But it's such a different, it's like on such a different level nowadays, you know? So you just have to make that conscious decision to work on what you need to work on. Not because anyone else is doing it. Not because it's just really about what is going to get you through the day. And what's going to get you through, like, through the road on your path to whatever it is that you want. You can decide to be an engineer tomorrow. You can decide to be literally homeless. You can be a hobo. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And you can like to not work on anything, to not do anything, to disconnect. And that's okay.
Yes.
As long as that brings you peace.
I love that. And so going off that, what are you working on these days as an actress and also in this field? Tell us more about you.
So I actually did the same thing. I took a hiatus from 2019 to now because my biggest priority was just getting myself stabilized income-wise. There was a change in residence. There was a loss in my family due to COVID, and that was really, really difficult without getting emotional. And it was more about understanding what it is that I wanted for myself as a result of that, and making sure that everyone else in my family too was okay, health-wise, emotionally. And now I'm kind of gearing up. I think that because it's been some time since I've done any acting, I need to get myself back into classes. I need to get myself back into a theater, like to watch a play, to be inspired. My very, very first interaction with the theater was with Phantom of the Opera when I was a kid in school in New York. Bless those schools. They always took us to these amazing field trips. And I haven't done any theater, but it's kind of like in the back of my mind where it's something that I want to give it a go. And I want to get back into those classes and start, kind of like greasing up the acting wheel and just starting to do a little bit more and hopefully get some work back to back. I have the crazy blessing that an agent reached out to me and she's like, you have a great look, let's have a chat. And then so we agreed we're gonna be working together, and she sent me an audition day one. And I was like, I literally have done nothing. I have done nothing but change my stage name. And I feel like that's like a universal that's like
sign.
That's a universal
nudge,
sign.
yeah.
It's like a little clap from the universe saying like you're being true to yourself. So have something to confirm that,
Oh my gosh, Gloria. Seriously, that is amazing. And I love that you're staying true to yourself, and that's why this is all happening for you. I truly believe that. A break 1 year or, a year and a half in the long grand scheme of things is nothing.
No.
Nothing.
It's nothing.
And now it all just fell on your lap. So tell me more about the stage name and...
Oh, God, it's so funny.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Funny.
Names. What is in a name?
Stage
What's
names.
in a name?
What's in a name?
So it's ambiguous. So my stage name was Delago. Don't go looking up any work because it was the beginning of my my need for the acting career, and so I started going to Chicago Actor Studio where you and I met, and my teacher there, Ed, wonderful Ed, he was like, let's work on your representation, like how you're going to put yourself out there in the acting world. And just Ed is a little bit more old school, and he had this really great idea of having the stage name because it's more ambiguous, because casting directors are going to be a little bit more attracted perhaps to you, or will not categorize you or put you in a box because of what your name sounds like or looks like. And I adopted that last name Delago, which is actually not that non-Latino,
You're right. I feel like it's Latino.
Yeah. Delgado is the Latino, like the common
That's
Latino
what it reminds
last
me
name.
of, though.
Yeah, and it sounds very much like it. But he got it from an old, very classic actress, and I can't remember her name, her first name. But I thought, that was just so cool. I think it's a character actually in a play or something like that. And I just thought to myself, you know what? He knows what he's talking about. Obviously, he can make me teach me some real cool acting things. So we're gonna go with that. And then after the loss of my mom, I just thought to myself recently, like thinking on life and thinking about what I want for myself, that I think my dad would be really proud. I said I was going to cry.
No, it's okay. We're here for it.
It's all at the table.
Yep, we're here for you.
It's all at the table. And I think he would be really proud to hear Chavez in anything that I do, whether it be a podcast or if I do really well in my dental profession, anything. And also, who am I trying to be like 3 different people? You know, being like Chavez, Delago, the dental field girl, and then the person with my friends or my family. Like, I am one person, and I should only represent. That's how I feel now. Represent myself, as who I am. Like, that's who I want to be known as.
Oh my gosh.
We're unboxing a lot of things, and I'm so not caffeinated.
Oh my gosh. Can we get our the assistant will get us some coffee.
Yeah. Coffee. T-shirts, right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sharing that and letting us create the space for you to talk through this, because you're so right. It just comes out of nowhere. You're like, wait.
Yeah.
It does.
And I think this is a representation too of you, again, coming back to yourself. And you had to learn this lesson. You had to go through this. We all have to go through lessons to get closer to who we are supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of timing too, right? Like, at the time, you made the right decision for who you were at that time. The timing is different now.
That's true.
Like, you're a different person now than you were when you made that decision.
Yes.
And so, you know, that's why the timing is so right too, with the agent coming out and reaching to you for representation. Like, perhaps you weren't going to be ready for that step a year ago when you were making that decision to be a Delago. So, you know, everything in its own time, and it's happening now. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Not to mention, like, being comfortable in your own skin.
Yes.
Right? Like, and we had kind of like mentioned this at the beginning before we began, being a woman in this industry, in this world, in this galaxy. It's like unlearning all of the things, right? And it's like, it's becoming more and more of a more common statement, and I'm glad that it is. I just hope that it doesn't get like so washed up and used up that it no longer has meaning. Like, unlearning all of the things that we have learned through society and even our parents or relatives, like imposing these ideas of who we have to be or what we have to do or how we have to think and how we have to represent ourselves in the world. Like, it's a very challenging time right now.
I think the history of the actress, if you go back to, like, you know, the 1800s or the 1700s when women were acting on stage, not a lot of them, by design, they were considered like prostitutes and sluts and loose women, and they couldn't really, you know, they could rub shoulders with the highest people in society, but they could never get any respect. And I think that history has carried through even now to 2021, where you can say, I'm an actress, and there's a certain amount of glamour and access to it, but there's also so much judgment attached to it too. Like, well, what are you doing? What kind of acting are you doing? Like, what kind of roles are you taking? And then everybody's just like, I feel, looking behind social media and kind of like hating almost. And it's just this weird profession in which it just invites that kind of scrutiny. And so, you know, that just makes it doubly hard to be a woman pursuing acting in 2021 in this galaxy.
In this
galaxy. I love that. And so where do you guys think women competing against each other came from? Talking about history.
The patriarchy.
Oh, yeah. I read this article about how women were so, like, obviously women didn't have rights, right, in history. And they were kind of like born and raised to be there, to be serving for a man, to service a man in with sex, with house duties, with support. I'm pretty sure like a lot of the times people don't mention emotional support, because men, just as much as women, require a lot of emotional support for whatever their endeavors are in life. And the woman was always kind of like the not the back end, but like the backbone to a man coming home to a clean house and food served on the table and children taken care of, and then on top of that also, you know, being there whenever he may have needed. And the argument was that women were in competition with each other to have a man, to be able to also get taken care of, because since women didn't have any rights in the world, they could not fend for themselves, feed themselves, clothe themselves. So now you're in an environment, they were back in the day, where I'm going to look prettier, and I'm going to have all the talents and all the skills to have the man before anyone else gets to him, because I need to survive. And so now we are in a society where we're still kind of have that mentality where I want to be pretty. You can't be prettier than me. You can be pretty, but you cannot be prettier than me. Or I want to be talented, and now I want to be a CEO, but I somehow do not want to see someone else be a CEO, because they might take, it's like that, it's like this embedded thing where they might take something away from me.
Scarcity mindset.
Yeah. And it's not, a lot of people don't think of it that way, but the behavior is there, right? So it's also, I mean, it's not just women, it's also men. But I think that for women specifically, that's kind of like the root of where it comes. And it's just being mindful that my shine is not going to take your shine away. My light is not going to take your light away. Like, you can be amazing and I can clap for you, and then there's enough space in the world for me to go and be amazing as well, and then have you clap for me, and we're both on stage.
Yeah. And it's got to be unlearned. Right? Like, you know, I have no problem admitting, like, sometimes, you know, that green-eyed monster will come like, oh, she's so pretty. Oh, she's so talented. Oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? And I have to remember, my journey is my journey, right? And I just remind myself of how many different beautiful, gorgeous types of women there are in Hollywood, right? And there are even like two of the same kind, right? You have like Natalie Portman and Keira Knightley, right? Like they look so much alike.
Twins.
You have like Bryce Dallas Howard and Jessica Chastain. They all, like, you know, two of the same kind can absolutely exist.
Yes.
Why cannot this exist in the real world, in the worlds that we are living in? So, you know, you just have to kind of check your brain and remind yourself that you're only in your own lane.
Yeah, I think a lot of it also has to do with obviously self-awareness, but how, like, for someone who is not used to reading the books or having these conversations, or like, you know, I was thinking that you were saying that, like, how do you check your brain? Maybe it's someone telling you, hey, that's not how it is, or that's not how it goes, or kind of like observing you having a moment like that. But even when you're having a moment in private, like, how do you become more conscious of like when you're doing it? And I think a lot of it has to do with just like self-education. If there's so many podcasts like this one, there's so many YouTube videos, books, and conversations that are being had around the topic. But if you don't actively go out and look for that information, if you don't actively think like, you know, how can I improve myself, then you won't be able to access the information. Because a lot of people say, like, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know how to do that. Like, I've worked with people in the dental field where they think I've heard people say, you know, I wish I could be better, or I wish I could know more, or, you know, Gloria, sometimes you talk about these things and I've never heard anyone say things like that. And I think to myself, well, part of it is some communities are not exposed to it enough, and I feel like that's a societal responsibility that we all have. But at the same time, on an individual level, you have to seek out. You have to seek out information. Or if you come across someone who just has like a gleam of that thing that's going to spark something in you, or it's going to spark the curiosity in you, like, ask them. The worst thing that can happen is they can tell you no. And how, I mean, we're used to that, like in the acting community, you know, say, like, hearing no is nothing. It's kind of like, here's my cell phone. But you have to, everyone has to get comfortable with hearing no, but continuing to ask and not being discouraged to look for the information. And when you do, then you just have to filter what is going to work for you in that very moment, and then and take what your soul can grab, what your mind can accept, and whatever else it doesn't pick up, it's okay. It's gonna come. And the more you read, like you're reading a book. What book are you reading?
It's called the Warner Laughlin technique.
Oh, okay. So
the only thing I understood from that is technique. So you're improving yourself.
Yes,
you're seeking
it's a new acting technique that I'm learning. Yes,
cool.
But real quick before we move to that, I think too with the unlearning is the rewriting. So it's like looking for things that you want to learn about, but then also rewriting the script in your mind is huge, because if you can't just take something away without replacing it,
right?
Because it's just going to keep coming back, and it's going to, right? It's always going to keep coming back. So let us right now rewrite the women supporting women story.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So first thing that comes up for me is you shining your light means I can shine my light too.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Your light is the beacon that guides others, right? Yeah. There's no reason to hide anything you have. But there's no reason to be intimidated by someone else shining their light. That should just make you more excited, because then there's more lights, you know?
Like if you, like jealousy, switching that around, being like, oh, wait, I see something in her that I see in myself.
Yes.
That maybe I don't have right now, but that if she can do it, so can I. Like literally those words have changed my life.
Yeah. And then the other thing, another set of words that have done the same thing for me is when one of us makes it, we all make it. Yeah. When you make it, I make it.
100%.
Because you're also making a space for me. You're creating a spot whenever you do something, whenever you succeed in a certain area, then that is that's motivation for me, right? Like it's just what you said, but it's motivation for me to realize that that I can go and I can do the exact same thing. I can do it in a different way. I can do it in my own way. And there's nothing wrong about any one of those things. There's so much space in the world, like so much space.
So much.
And the years will pass, the decades will pass, and people will continue to create.
Yeah.
People will continue to be curious, like to stay curious. So you know, like a lot of the things that I didn't realize a while back was that there's an actor, there is a comedian, there is a scientist for everyone, right?
Yes.
You can have, like you said, an actor, 2, 3 actresses that look exactly the same, but one of them is gonna be like, oh damn, for you, right? And you're gonna be like, I love her, not the other two. Why? Because they do something a little different.
They do.
But I'm gonna say, I like this one because I resonate with her personality or her charisma. And then you're gonna be like, well, I like that other one. They all are holding space for all of us to connect to them in different ways, so we get to be the same way to others.
I love that so much. And this is a good transition to what I want to talk about next, which is the work of acting. And so I'm sure we've all thought, like, why am I even doing this? Right? Like every day of our life, like, why do we want to do it's such it's such a unstable career. You know, we don't know what's going to happen next.
Never.
We can have the biggest dreams, but you know how those come to reality. It's up to us. So many things are out of our control in general. And what I've been learning is it's truly about the work.
Yes.
It's about the work.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm reading this book. It's called the Warner Laughlin Technique, and it's about doing the work. So really breaking down a character, making their backstory like a part of you, and so you can actually experience what they're going through, but not you experiencing it, kind of thing. So you guys have both been taking breaks, which is actually the best well, I'm not like an acting guru or anything, but like what
Yes,
I've
you
heard,
are, Emma.
what I've
Yes,
heard, what I've heard is that the best actors are living their lives.
Yeah.
You're experiencing life, and there's no greater acting tool that you can have.
Yeah.
And also in this book, it's like there's one thing to know that it happened, and it's another thing to actually experience it yourself.
Right.
So I just wanted to point that out because I think taking breaks, we talked about that, but like actually living your life is going to make you an amazing actor.
Yeah. I mean, it's muscle memory, right?
Yes.
And there's so many acting exercises around muscle memory, like holding a bottle and drinking the bottle and then doing it over and you know, and then doing it over without the bottle, but feeling the weight and tasting the water and feeling the freshness and enjoying it. And so I still struggle with having a little bit of that muscle memory, and there are some actors and some techniques where what they pick up is, let me think about this very traumatic moment in my time, or let me think about this very like anxiety building moment in my life, or joyous moment in my life, and then apply it to the character and just think of that moment and have that emotion come through. I have a struggle with doing that because then I feel like I come out of my character, and then I start focusing on something that actually happened, and then it's like, wait, which story am I living?
That's
right
what
now?
this book is about. What is it called? You got to read it. What is that called? I can't remember. It's like, it's a technique. That's a technique. You like put yourself in the shoes, but then you do bounce out of the character. What the heck is that called? What?
Method.
Like method?
It's a method, yeah, but there's a specific. It's like it's not a transition. It's a something. I can't remember. I'm gonna, as soon as it's over, I'm gonna remember it.
You've gone deep into this. Yeah.
I do a character journle.
Love it.
Every time, like, I take a role, especially if it's like, more than 3 lines. I like sit there and I think of the most iconic moments in that character's life. And then I write like 2 to 5 pages of what that day was from that character's voice. And that really, really helps. Like, like the day my dad died, or the day that this person bullied me, or, just moments from the script that they allude to.
Yeah.
And it could just be like a quick 1 line, right? But I'm like, this is something that's significant in a milestone in making that person's personality. How can I flesh out that day and that moment so it feels real? And then when you're on set, you have that memory.
Yeah,
literally, and like, and it's so real to me that I'm like, boom, we're here.
Yes,
and it's helped. I don't know if that's a particular technique, but
no, that's actually part of what. Yeah,
there you go.
So you're on it, girl. I do have some fun news I want to share with you girls.
Yes, Emma.
So last week I filmed on Chicago Med. Yes.
Applause.
Oh, here we go. Applause. Which was really, really exciting.
Congrats.
Thank you. And it was, speaking of 3 lines, it was 3 lines, 3 amazing lines. I was delivering a package to the doctor.
There you go.
But it was just such a great experience to be on the set of that caliber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to really believe that I belonged there. One of my friends, Courtney Rue, who's she's part of SAG-AFTRA. She's also a coach and an actress. She wrote this really amazing blog about like your first day on network set and like what to expect and all this stuff. And that really, really helped. So shout out Courtney. Thank you for sharing that.
That's amazing.
And it was just really fun. And now I'm like, I want more.
Of course. You get the taste.
Yeah,
you get the taste. And then all of a sudden it's just like you get like you're like a little like hungry monster, you know, in the best way possible, because now it drives you. Yes. It drives you to do so much more. And talking about the caliber, the caliber of the people on the set. So, how
I know,
did you like speak to anyone there? Did they give you any like what was direction like? Did you guys do multiple takes? Like,
oh yeah, we did so many takes. I think there were 3 cameras rolling. There was one time one of the cameras was moving in front of me when I had to walk out, so I was like, "Skrr," like it was really funny. I just kind of giggled, Cool. But it was cool to see that the actors made mistakes. They ran it over. It wasn't it was literally just a more in-depth set that we've all been on.
Yep.
Just more people, more crew, more jobs. And it was just such an amazing experience because, again, reminds you, like, you're literally one little piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Takes the pressure off of you. Like, they gave me a few notes, like, hey, courier, move to the right more, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, great, done. Doesn't mean anything, just move to the right. Like,
Nice and simple.
So, what would be one of your dream roles?
Ooh.
Oh, damn.
And I'm sorry, I threw that out there. I was like,
Left turn.
left turn here.
Dream roles. I don't know. I lean onto the drama a lot.
We love drama.
The theatrics of it all. So I think just having like a very raw, very real human moment. I don't know. I just think of, let's see. I know you mentioned Jessica Chastain, and she's huge right now. And but then again, who was I forget her name all the time, and I'm terrible for this, but she's amazing. She did Monster?
Halle Berry?
No, was it Monster?
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, yes. And that role to me was like, I really like would in a dream world would love to have a role of that grade. And I say that grade because I can only imagine how much work she actually had to do to be able to like birth this character. Not only that it was like such a raw and such a crazy real character, but also that she was playing someone who was real. It was based on a true story. And the transformation was insane. Like I hope to one day be like one of those actors that transforms, you know?
Yes.
Like, have you guys watched Gangs of New York? Okay, Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York. Daniel Day-Lewis is another person who transforms every time. Or this other movie that he did recently, it was There Will Be Blood. Just his intensity and his his drive and his power, I feel like, through those characters is insane. And you just don't see the actor, you see the character. And that's like something that blows my mind, that I hope to one day be able to like be so good at my job that when somebody's watching me, they're like, holy crap, that personality, not Gloria.
Right. They're in the story. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Kate Winslet is another one. I love Kate so much.
Yeah.
Kate Winslet.
Yeah. So I was leaving home and my boyfriend's like, okay, who's your favorite? You know, like he's prepping me. Like
I love that. Oh, good job, boyfriend.
Yes, boyfriend. So he's prepping me and he's like, okay, favorite movie and okay, this and that. And favorite actor. And I'll tell you guys about that right now. But I was like, interestingly enough, like there are so many big names in the industry. And so like older actresses. But Kate Winslet was like, my
She's a
first
goddess.
true love, you know, like Titanic, obviously, ruled my world for like 6 years.
Yes. Anything she does. The Reader.
The Reader, to me, though, that was, I was like, girl, no.
Oh my God.
What
and then the Holiday, which is like super different and like light and happy. Like Kate Winslet, we stand you 100%, girl. We're here.
Kate Winslet, if you're watching this, hi.
Hey, girl.
Hi,
Hey,
I want
we
to
love
work
you.
with you.
Come on this podcast.
Yeah, for real. But then he asked me, what about actor? And so of course I followed it with Leo. Leo had me at Titanic, but then and not even for what he won an Oscar for. It was for Wolf of Wall Street. Hat off for that. But then my boyfriend proceeds to go, what is wrong with you? What happened to Tom Hanks? And I and I call Tom Hanks my father of acting, because I just feel like he's like, he has, have you guys watched not the Red Table, the actors the Actors Table. There's two of those, but on YouTube. And I have seen him in a few interviews, and he's like so wise. And like he just says everything, every like word that comes out of that man's mouth, it's kind of like you just learned a whole bit of like of secrecy in the acting world, you know, and in life too. Like I feel like his experience and his conversation holds like so much weight in the universe in some way. Is that crazy?
Yeah. No, not
also
at all.
Tom Hanks, if you want to come on this podcast.
We'll interview you for ladies' night.
Yes, please.
Anthony Hopkins too has that same kind of gravitas. Like anything he watches, I'm just like, you're just amazing. Can I just teach me all the things? But you know, younger, and may he rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
Oh my goodness.
He is a transformer. And it just really breaks my heart that no one really saw it until he died.
Yeah.
Right? Or like he just did all of this work and then died, and then it all got released posthumously. And it's just, when I think about like him going from like Thurgood to like 42, and then like The Harder They Fall, and then of course Black Panther, to he played James Brown. And was like really? The most, it was like chill inducing, like how good he was as James Brown. And with the dancing and the singing and the movement. And then he made this character who's like an abuser and a womanizer and all these things. He made him like relatable. Just gosh,
which one was the one with Viola Davis, which I fell in love with her
Ma
there.
Rainey's Black Bottom.
And he was amazing. Like the two of them were just chills. And to be honest with you, I didn't know I didn't know his work prior to, like, the majority of his work prior to Black Panther, really. Like I didn't follow him. I hadn't heard any interviews, and I love like listening and watching interviews because you get like a little bit of an insight on, you know, what their lifestyle was like before they got to the level of fame that they are now, that gives them, you know, the opportunity to sit at those interviews. But when I started doing my research and looking into all of the work that he's done, and also the huge heart that he had, like it's incredible, you know, like the caliber of a human that he was so much greater than the actor, you know, like the acting world. And like I just think that there needs to be a lot more information going out about him specifically, like in the acting world, but also just in general, because he was very, very, I don't know, like giving, very wise too. That's just crazy. And just all the little children just looking up to him, like seeing all the pictures of their little Black Panther, like literally so sweet.
Rest in
peace. Well, ladies, we're gonna start wrapping up our conversation
so soon.
I know.
Miguel.
I know, right? We're mad at you, Miguel. So the holidays are coming up. Well, they're actually here. It is December like 5th or something. I don't even know what the date it is. But what are you ladies doing for the holidays if you celebrate?
I am hosting dinner for my sister's dad, brother-in-law, and I don't know, we're attempting to cook the whole shebang, you know, like the whole shebang bang.
You and boyfriend.
Me and boyfriend.
Okay. Does he have a name?
He does. His name is Oleg.
Hey, Oleg.
Whoa.
Hey. Okay.
He's Ukrainian.
Oleg.
He's going to be like, why are you talking about me on this podcast?
Because Oleg, we need 10 now.
Yeah, we had to shout him out. Come on.
Actually, he might be a good guest on the podcast because he's a huge film junkie.
Okay.
So, yeah, thanks to him, I have an AMC subscription.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, that is hardcore. Okay. That is very hardcore. But yeah, that's the goal for Christmas. And then New Year's tends to be like just like whatever comes up. Because of COVID, we're probably not, you know, doing an outing, which normally we would. But we're just going to take it easy and then try to enjoy some of the holiday things to do, like the Criscana Market. And there's some other thing, a drive-through in the burbs with lights. And then probably do like a play or two or a musical.
Yeah. I love that. Chantal?
Remodeling my house. Like, seriously, guys, right now it's nothing but buzzsaws going on through there. And then we're probably going to go to Texas for a few days to spend some time with my family. My mother and my son have this supernatural bond in which I am not going to get in the middle of, but they love each other with the fierceness of 1,000 suns. I'm pretty sure they were like kicking it in previous lives together because they miss each other fiercely. So get them their time, and then I get to see my younger siblings too, and my padre.
Yeah,
that's so sweet.
Padre.
I will be hanging out around town. My brother and sister-in-law and 14-month-old baby will be coming up and living with us for a week, which I'm so excited.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my little nephew Leo will just wake up and be like, bah, bah, bah. I'm like, hi. Like, yeah, you're like,
get ready.
I know. I love it. It's so sweet. So I'm so excited about that. I'm going to be making some pizzelles, which is an Italian cookie with my aunt. That's kind of our little tradition. We make like so many, and it's only one pan. So you just have to make one at a time. So it takes a long time, but it's super good and worth it. And then we give away with, the whole shebang of little, what are they, like Tupperwares, like cute Tupperwares. So we give them away. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to that.
That's nice.
And if you have you want to go see a play,
yes.
So I am in a play this February, which is going to be so amazing.
Applause.
Oh my gosh! Thanks, guys. I have to remind myself to do the applause. It's so funny. It's called 1800 verse 2020. I'm pulling a Janetta Edwards here. Last time she pulled out her Tamar bit. So it's a story. Yeah, take a look. Yeah. It's a story about, it's called 1800 verse 2020. And it's about what the conversations would be like between slaves in the 1800s and modern day people today. So
shut the front door.
It's so amazing. Produced, written by Richard Gallion and also Nicole Reed. Great people, seriously, one of the best people I've worked with. It's funny, it's serious, there's history, it gets deep. It gets so deep.
This. Can I keep that?
Yeah,
genius.
go ahead. But yeah, so that's going through February, and tickets are half off right now, so definitely go see. Okay. But yeah, it's gonna be great.
I wish we had more time to like discuss like all the how you're handling like the PD show and the theater work,
oh my gosh,
and the nannying and the health
coach.
Excuse me. Can we interview you?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, like Chantal, I don't know.
Right. I don't know. You just wake up and do it.
You just do it.
You just do it.
I'm telling you. So this role I was referred to it. I'm actually splitting it with another girl, which is very interesting. We both came, and she was actually in the Girl Assassin series. Remember I was talking that first series I was in. So I already knew her. Okay. So sweet. Her name's Heidi. She's like literally the sweetest person ever. So we both auditioned, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a win-win. She wins. Yes. So happy. She's amazing. If I win, I'm obviously going to be happy. Not winning, but get the part, Yeah. And then he came out and said, I want you both to split the role. And we're like, awesome. Okay. Because there's 8 shows. We'll both do 4.
Okay.
Which is very cool. Mm-hmm. And so that happened. And then, there's rehearsals and all that. And then a few weeks later, I got the med. And I'm like, wow, like things just can just change so fast.
Yeah.
But I still feel the same. It's like, all right, what's next, right? Like, obviously. And I think this is where it goes full circle of these self-care routines and like living personal lives, because we can't just keep depending on the highs of bookings. You have to have highs in your regular life to be happy. So then when the bookings come, you're a happy person. You do good work. You know what I'm saying?
say it again for the people in the back.
I know.
Yes.
You do have to have an active, robust life outside of acting. You do, because otherwise, you're just depressed. You're like, no one's calling me. I'm not doing anything.
Right.
But then if you have this busy life, you're just kind of like, oh crap, I have to go to set. Okay, cool. But it's just another thing to slot into your already busy full life rather than setting your whole identity on this whole acting thing.
And I'm so grateful for podcasts like this, podcasts like Courtney Roos, who I was mentioning. Another actor podcast that I listen to a lot is Tony Rossi. He's got the actors, I think it's like Mindset, something, sorry, Tony, I'm butchering it, DeJuan Johnson. And it's like he talks to these actors and they're just regular people, right? Like also struggling, even if they've had the most amazing careers. They're like, okay, what's next? I got to pay my bills. And I think that perspective that they didn't get, there was nobody talking about this stuff, 20 years ago on podcasts and YouTube and all these things. Just so grateful because it's really helping people now be like, oh, it's okay. Let's take a breath. Let's take a break. Let me
You know what's a great book? I read Jenna Fisher. I don't remember the name of the book, but Jenna Fisher from The Office, Pam. She wrote this book for actors.
It's like the actor's guide.
And
cool.
and it was just so great that she said like she moved. I think she moved to Cali and she got a plant, and then she just realized that she had to start doing things to fulfill her on a personal level and to fill in the gaps, exactly what you just said, is to fill in the gaps between auditions and things like that and jobs and like trying to pay the bills. So she started doing this like experimental artsy kind of like body movement show, and she just did it just for fun. She just a friend told her about it, or she saw or heard about it somewhere, and then she joined, and that's where she got the agent that got her the Office role, or that eventually got her to Pam. So it's just one of those things where like you have to live your life. You don't and the thing is that as actors, you're not going to be living life that far away from the art world, the creative world. So there's always going to be some sort of networking or some sort of friendship building, relationship building that is eventually going to support what you are, what you're hoping will become, your full-time job. So the more you do within your community as an individual is eventually going to help to boost you as an artist and a professional.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes. So good. Oh my gosh, we could talk forever. Honestly, like
I was like, I have something else. But no,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like every time I try to go on set, I try to make friends.
Oh yeah.
Like I say, I'm literally gonna go play. And I'm gonna make friends.
Yes.
That's the whole point of me being on set today. Like I'm not like, don't worry about all the other stuff, like the characterization of the lines or what the director's thinking. Like all that'll come. But if you stay relaxed and just know I'm gonna go play and have fun and meet some cool people, by the end of it you have like 5 phone numbers, maybe another role in your back pocket, just because you weren't a jerk and you were cool and you were relaxed. So you gotta go in with not a networking mindset, but a friendship making.
Genuine, just being interested in people and getting to know them and getting to know why they love doing what you love doing, and then just eventually, I mean, that's how friendships begin anyway, because you click with somebody because you get them, or they get you, and then you, I don't know, you liked each other's lipstick or you had some funny thing to talk about, and then boom, there's a connection, and it's not fake, or it's not with like an ulterior motive behind it. It's just because you just appreciate that person being there, being present.
Yes.
And then they're there on your next set. And
And
you're
then
like,
they're-
what's up, man? And you have
the
somebody to
best.
kick it with, right?
Yeah,
So
that is the best.
it's good.
I love that.
Yep.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for being here. Chantal, thank you so much for being the co-host today. Amazing. Seriously, I love you so much.
Love you.
And Gloria, thank you for sharing your story and being vulnerable and being present here with us today. That means a lot. And we wish you the best of breaking, I'm going to say breaking legs. That doesn't sound either good either. That sounds horrible. With, this new blossomed Gloria Chavez.
Thank you.
That is coming into the world.
Gosh.
She wants to be in a play. She wants to be in a play, people.
Come on, guys. She's here.
She's here. She's available. She's beautiful inside and out. Thank you. Both of you are. Thank you so much. And then also, shout out to In My Opinion for having us back. I think it's amazing that the boys here have 3.5K thousand followers. Here's the applause. Woo! Yeah. So thank you all for subscribing and watching. And I think this platform is amazing to, give different voices some representation, which is very important. And I know that's important to Miguel and Jonathan as well. So we appreciate that, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Shout out to everybody watching. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you next time.
See you on set.
See you on set.